Hello and welcome everyone to the Galactic Family Podcast. Tonight, we open the circle to all those who have touched the unseen and walked between worlds. In a powerful collaboration with Jim Andre and the Alien Connection Truth Network, we invite all experiencers to step forward and share their stories that reach beyond the veil of ordinary reality. This is not just a podcast, this is a sanctuary of truth, a realm of deep listening, and a vessel for healing. Here, your voice is sacred, your experiences are honored, and your truth is never judged. We only embrace with love, empathy, and cosmic understanding. Join us, speak freely, and connect deeply. The circle is open, and everyone is welcome. Hey, how you doing, guys?
All right.
I'm going to post the link actually in the chat now, too, so other people can come up.
How you doing, guys?
All right.
Pin it. All right, well, that is the
You can have it, Sean.
is the podcast. All right, here we go. Hey, Lady D. Yep, I think Eric will be joining us here too. Hopefully here shortly. But if you want to start, anybody want to start first? Nobody wants to start first? Okay, I'll go. I was 16 years old. I've always had experiences. Ever since I was real young, I could always imagine that my parents would try to low crawl out of the bedroom because every time they wouldn't be in the bedroom, I'd wake up and I'd think that there would be something in my bedroom. And there was. There was a couple things. One was, it was so weird. I was sleeping, 7 years old, and I see this mechanical looking eye come out from underneath of my bed and look at me. I screamed as hard as I could. That eyeball went right underneath my bed again, disappeared. I said, "Did you check underneath my bed? Like there's something there." And ever since then, I would never let my parents leave my bedroom. If they were gone, I was screaming. Then at 16, me and my mother were outside and we were smoking a cigarette. We weren't allowed to smoke in the house. My dad said, "Okay, I'll allow you, but don't smoke in the house." So I said, "Okay, I'll obey your rules." I went outside to smoke a cigarette and I thought I saw this light above this hill and it looked like a helicopter, a spotlight. And I was like, "Oh, look, Mom." I'm laughing at him like the police are looking for somebody, I was like, "It looks like a spotlight. Police are looking for somebody." My mom looks over. And as soon as we both looked over, that object went about 3-4 miles away on top of this hill, directly above us. And all we feel is this like energetic energy around us, like this buzzing energy. And I still had my cigarette in my hand. We weren't done with it yet. Now, this is the thing you got to remember. Then, after this, I remember we got back. We went back inside. I'm like, "Oh my God, what was that?" The light went away. The thing zoomed out of the picture. I'm like, "What was that?" Mom didn't know what it was. We both walked inside, and my mom's staring at this clock. And I'm like, she's like, "It's bedtime. It's 8:30. I'm like, "No, it's not. It's 6:30. I'm like, we walked outside at 6:30 to go smoke one cigarette, and now it's 8:30. No. I said, "It's not possible." And it is possible. They froze that moment in time. We came back At the same moment we left. And ever since then, I've also had an implant x-rayed that's actually in my neck. I had it x-rayed from the VA. It is a solid metal ball with an organic compound around it that they don't know what the organic compound is. And when I stick a EMF meter up to it and a signal identifier, there's actually a 4.8 gigahertz signal that actually is pulsing out of it every once in a while. And that's my story.
Have you ever thought of having it removed to analyze it?
I have went to 4 different doctors at 4 different hospital networks, and they've told me they won't touch it. Because they say that the part in my neck that it's in right here, right above my collarbone, and behind the nerves, the vessels in my my brain, pretty much all these veins, they can't safely say that they can remove it.
So in other words, it's near the jugular vein.
It's embedded into these main veins right in here. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And they don't want to mess with anything in there because if it's not hurting me, it's not doing anything like that. And it's not. But they're not going to do anything unless it's an emergency surgery.
Right.
But that's what I've gone through. I mean, I've gone through a little bit more. I had a run-in when I was on MUFON investigation. Here in Wapwallop, Pennsylvania, I was investigating a UFO landing site. We got there about 9 hours after the people called it in. We were part of the STAR team, the special action team that responds right away. And we got there and like immediately the area was just radiated. I didn't think it was as bad as what it was. And we were taking samples. I had my arms over the area and everything. All of a sudden, my arms started to like blister up. I was like, oh, run over to my vehicle. I'm starting to grab detectors. Everything is going off. Radiation, EMF, everything. All these meters are going off. I'm like, you've got to be effing me. You know what I mean?
I got a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
You say you was a member of MUFON?
I still am, yeah. I'm a section state director.
Well, let me ask you a question. Is there any way you can look a certain year in a certain area to see if they had any UFO reports in that area?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can look that up.
A little bit. I'll tell you some of my stuff. I could talk for hours, but I'll make it short.
Oh, you're fine, man. This is open. I mean, we're going until we end with the stories, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but that's fine, you know. I've always had this thing in here, and I just it hasn't bothered me, hasn't upset me, and when I went under actual hypnosis to actually find out what happened in those missing 2 hours, I found out. I was sitting on a table that it wasn't a table. It was like invisible.
Mm-hmm.
It was like see-through almost, but it was there. I was sitting on it.
Yeah.
But I could see the floor beneath of it. And I'm like, okay, this is really weird. I'm like, all right, I'm dreaming. Cool. I get up, I stand up, and I look to my left, and I see a hallway, and I'm like, okay. I start walking towards the hallway. I put my hand. Now, this is where it got strange. I put my hand on the corner of the hallway, right? And as soon as I put my hand on the corner, I felt like if you put your finger on the inside of your mouth, okay, and you feel that saliva and that living tissue, that's what I felt on the outside of that door. And I went and I looked in and I'm like, oh my God, like it's a living ship. The ship that took us was alive. It wasn't a ship that was made. It was bioengineered.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And they even told me, they said that the reason why that the ship automatically, I guess, picked us up because the beam that they used was not meant for humans.
Yeah.
They wanted to fix it, stick us back in the same spot, erase what they did, and just go about their merry way.
Mm-hmm.
Even though 2 hours have gone past and we have a clock in the living room, but they don't think that far ahead. They just want to fix what they did.
Yeah.
So they fixed what they did, and they sent us back to the same spot, same area, just 2 hours ahead. And it was just amazing that the ships are alive. They're not made of metal. They're not made of nuts and bolts. They can be living.
Yeah.
And those organic, yes. And those organic ships have these little, they're not, I don't want to call them robotic, but emotionless gray beings that work inside the ship. That only like that they're like psionically connected to the living spaceship, and the spaceship tells them what to do, and then they do it inside the ship. It's like a living organism like us. We have a virus that comes in, and we have what? We have everything that attacks those viruses, in our body. It's the same thing that ship did. It was weird, but that's my full story on it.
I've had some strange experiences, and like I said, I could talk all night, but I won't. But
No, go ahead.
Well, you better let me go first then.
then go first. While you're blabbing, I'm going to step out and have a cigarette.
By the time you finish talking, I'll be falling asleep.
Oh God!
Time I've been talking, they probably lowering you in the ground.
Yeah, could be.
Oh man.
Anyway, my experience started when I was around 8 years old. Actually, my 8th birthday, as a matter of fact. Most people are aware of the Bonnie and Betty Hill incident, where they were abducted in New Hampshire, all coming back to New Hampshire from Canada. And they get abducted on September 19th, 1961, which was coincidentally my 8th birthday. I was born on September 19th, 1953. And somehow, since being that age, I've been, had this feeling that somehow I was tied into their abduction, like on the same craft or whatever. But fast forward to the fall of 2012, I experienced a second abduction, where after post-abduction, I was left a tattoo which depicts an alien gray.
Wow.
And when that happened, I was really beside myself. It took me a while to, come to some peace within myself. And, after a year and a half, 2 years, I come out with my story. I've got a group on Facebook, the Alien Connection Truth Network, which I set up purposely for this type of information, where somebody could come on there and talk about their experiences without the fear of being ridiculed.
Exactly.
And I'm connected to the Zeta Reticula, which are the short grays. I get telepathic messages from them periodically. I can't do it at will, but it comes randomly. And so I'm an abductee, contactee, and that's about my story.
Wonderful. Well, not wonderful, that you went through that at that time. But
Quite an experience, yeah. I mean, it was traumatic at first, but it turned into a positive experience.
That's wonderful. It usually does once you figure out the meaning behind it.
Right.
It's not as scary as what everybody makes it out to be.
Exactly.
In the beginning, it was scary even for me, I got taken for 2 hours. What happened? That was my first reaction. Now I'm scared and trying to find out what happened, but nobody's giving me answers because they don't want to talk to me. But eventually I did have my answers, so I'm happy for that.
Yeah, because that can be kind of mind warping,
Oh yeah.
But especially at first, because you second guess yourself, and do they mean any harm? What other intent? And but mine turned out to be a positive experience.
That's good. All right, we're on gym number 2.
Yeah. All my stuff started when I was about 7 or 8 years old. I went to bed one night, woke up wee hours in the morning, didn't know where I was at. I was in a dark room, couldn't see nothing, and it was colder than hell, and I was naked. Well, I go to feeling around in the room, and I found the wall, but hell, there wasn't no door. And I finally just laid back down, went back to sleep. When I woke up next morning, my pajamas was gone. Never did find my pajamas. All right.
Oh, wow.
Then fast forward till I was about 13. We lived out in Arizona in the desert. It was me and my little brother and neighbor girl. We sitting in the backyard one night at a picnic bench. And you just got to picture Arizona. There's no lights out there. I mean, there's no city lights or nothing. You can see every star in the heavens. Well, we're sitting there talking. All of a sudden, the backyard where we sitting just lit up like daytime, like somebody shining a spotlight on. We look up. There's a round craft, just treetop high. That thing was it was a mothership. It had to be because it was a monster. Had lights all over it and had a big light in the belly. That's what was shining on us. Well, we got scared and run in the house. Well, I had a sliding door. We had a sliding door going in the kitchen like Jim there off the back porch. Well, we run in the back door. Well, my mom and dad sitting at the table drinking coffee, and I told my dad, I said, come out here and check this out. He said, check what out? I said, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a UFO or what it is. He starts laughing at me. He said, get out of here. So he gets up. We just turn around and start back out the door. Look up, and it was gone. Nowhere to be seen. The next day, me and my little brother, we go to school. Well, both of us had looked like sunburns from that light. Go to school, and teacher starts questioning us how we got a bad sunburn overnight. Well, we start telling what happened to us. The following day, I come home from school, and the men in black was at the house wanting to talk to us.
No
They
way.
kept on trying to tell me it was a damn blimp. I said, it wasn't no goddamn blimp I seen. They kept on. Finally, my dad told us it was a blimp. Now shut up. Let them guys go back to work and do their job. No, it wasn't a blimp. They're full of it.
Either that or your dad just wanted them off your property and said, just agree with them.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to have you look. That was right around the Phoenix area, 1978. We was just west of Phoenix, about 30 miles. And that craft that we saw, the only craft I ever seen that was even close to it, resembled it, was that craft that, except the one we seen was bigger, but that craft that Travis Walton, they show in that movie that abducted him, it kind of reminded me of that.
Oh, wow.
And, I guess it's been, what's that been, 3 or 4 years ago, Jim, when I was driving a truck?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was up in Wisconsin. I was coming out of Wisconsin back into Illinois, up at Rockford, Illinois. And I just talked to Jim and another guy, and I told him I got to get off here. I got to call the old lady before she goes to bed. Well, I'm coming by the airport in Rockford. I just hung up with my wife. I'm coming down the interstate there by Rockford, and all of a sudden this bright flashlight. The only way I can explain it's like Men in Black, the movie, when they erase your memory. That's the kind of flash it was. It was almost instantaneously. It was bright, and then my vision started coming back. Now, mind you, I'm on a 4-lane interstate. When my vision comes back, I'm on a 2-lane highway in the middle of nowhere. I drive a little bit, and there's a station on the left. Well, I stop over and walk over and ask them how to get back. I was 50-something miles from the damn interstate. And I was puzzled because I don't know how I got there. And they told me how to told me how to get back. They told me you ain't supposed to be on this road. You're supposed to be over on a different road. This road ain't made for trucks. Told me how to get back to the interstate. Well, I start back over. Well, I had to go through a town that had a townhouse, a courthouse square, and I had to drive all the way around the square. Never remember going through there, going over there. I just was one place 1 minute, the next second I was somewhere else. Well, I get on the phone, I call my wife, and I said, I said, I don't know what's happened. She said, what do you mean? I said, I don't know what happened. She said, what are you talking about? She said, she said, you woke me up. She said, now what the hell do you want to talk about? And I said, what do you mean I woke you up? I just hung up with you a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Bullshit. She said, it's been 4 hours since you hung up with me. I was blown away. Well, I get home the next day and go to looking on the internet. About 20 miles up the interstate, they had a bad truck wreck. A big truck and a car had a wreck. Well, killed everybody in the cars and even killed the truck driver.
Oh, wow.
All I can figure is keep me out of harm's way. Now, the next little story I'm going to tell you is going to really blow your mind. And Mr. Andrew there had a hand in this shit.
Oh, boy.
Well, I had lung cancer. I've had cancer for about 10 years. Well, it went from my bladder to my lungs, and I started coughing up blood clots, having a lot of trouble. Well, I go to bed one night. I wake up wee hours in the morning. You know what sleep paralysis is. I wake up. It was like I was having sleep paralysis. And when I opened my eyes, I couldn't move nothing. I look at the foot of my bed, and there's 3 alien grays standing at the foot of my bed looking at me. And I can't move. Now, mind you, I got an 8-3 black belt in Jeet Kune Do, same thing Bruce Lee taught. If I could have got loose, we'd have had a big brawl right there in that bedroom. But I couldn't break loose from the state they had me in. The one stepped around the side of the bed and started walking toward me with his hand out. I was freaking. My heart was plumb up in my throat. I was about to crap my pants. When he gets up close to me, and I just close my eyes. He puts his hand on my chest, and all the way I can explain it, when he put his hand on my chest, it was just like God put his hand on me. The most peaceful, most loving feeling come over me. Calm instantly. My heart was probably beating 200 beats a minute. When that hand touched me, that was it. That was the end of that. That heart was back to normal instantly. And didn't have, the fear was gone, everything. And I laid there with my eyes closed for a little bit, and I felt him remove his hand. I waited just a little bit, opened my eyes, and they was gone. There wasn't nobody in there. And then I got where I could move again. Well, I called Jim the next morning to tell him about it, because I thought it was actually a dream. I called Jim, going to tell him about it. I said, hey, dude, I got something to tell you. Jim said, don't tell me. Let me tell you. And I said, what? He said, let me tell you. He said, my 3 little friends paid you a visit last night, in the middle of the night, right? I about fell out of that damn chair.
What?
And yeah, I lived out there. I moved back out of Arizona here 3 or 4 years ago, and I was camped on the river over there for a little while.
Did you ever get it back for that?
I guess I guess they was there to help me because I got over that lung.
Yeah, I met Jim.
Yeah, they were there to help them, not harm them.
Oh yeah, let me tell you something. Out there in Arizona, in that desert, I lived over on the California line on the river over there. You seen stuff every night. Every night, if you walked outside and looked up, you would see things. One night, I'm sitting there on the river. We was camping, and I'm sitting in my van. And I look across the river in California, and there's a craft over there flying around. He's shooting a blue beam at the ground, like a laser beam. I reached down. I had a 2 million candle power spotlight, rechargeable spotlight. I stick it out the window and I shoot that light at it. It's about probably a mile and a half away. I shoot that light at it. This son of a bitch turns and starts towards me. Just before he gets to the river, the son of a bitch shoots this blue beam of light at my van I'm sitting in. I had to sit there all night till the next morning. He killed the battery in the van, killed the batteries on my phones, killed the battery in my spotlight, killed every battery in the van. I mean, just wiped it out. And the next morning, it took 15 minutes to jump in the damn van to build the battery up enough to start it.
That sounds like he hit you with a localized EMP.
I don't know what he hit me with, but I don't mess with them. I seen one out here night before last where I'm at now. They was doing all kinds of crazy shit. My old lady said, "You want to shoot the spotlight at it?" I said, "Nope, I ain't bothered."
Well, I'm not doing that again, right? Oh my God.
No.
Wow. Now that's interesting.
And the next day, remember the fields?
Oh yeah, that next day over there in California, they found over where I saw that craft at night. They saw some crop circles over there.
See, that's the same thing we had when I investigated our site. It was an impression in the ground. We took soil samples and everything, sent them to the lab, the MUFON lab in Missouri. They came back with the results and they said, "Jason, you need to go and get yourself over to the emergency room right now." And I said, "What are you talking about?" They said, "That grass that you sent us is highly radioactive." I said, "Get the."
Yeah.
So I went over to the hospital. They had to treat me for it. Here, the grass was the grass.
They give you iodine. They give you iodine for that.
Yeah. The grass. The grass was burned from the inside out.
That's like me and Jim. We was watching a video one time of a crop circle in England, and scientists was out there, and they showed it on the meter. That damn crop circle was putting off a frequency plus radiation.
Yeah,
and there was another video on YouTube they took down, showed some orbs over a field in England, and they was swooping down, making them crop circles.
I got that video.
Yeah, England is well known for the crop circles. They do them out there mostly.
Oh, you want to see some? When we get done, I'll send Jim a link to send to you. I got that video with that video of the crop circles in England when it was made and everything. I got the original.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a little story. I'm originally from Missouri, and you probably heard of it. You ever hear of the UFO crash in the 1940s at a place called Chaffee, Missouri?
I think so, but I've heard of it, but not studied or anything.
This craft crashed over there, and a friend of mine, his dad was a preacher. Jim knows Bill. Bill told him the story too. Anyway, his dad was a preacher. Police come to his house at 2:00 in the morning and ask him to go with them. There'd been an accident. Well, he goes out, gets in a car with them. They go out to this crash site. There was 3 aliens, dead aliens. They wanted him to say the last rites for him or whatever. And then when they was all done, they kept him detained for 8.5 hours, talking to him, swearing him to secrecy. That old man almost took it to his grave. He was 90-something years old when he finally come forward with what he saw over there.
Wow.
I mean, he was a preacher, so I know I don't believe he was lying about it.
Wow. That's incredible. Like there's been a lot of stories like that. And the same one that you told with disappearing and ending up somewhere else in your vehicle, I've heard that story before. There was a park ranger, I believe, and his friend that were in their vehicle. They were doing I'm not sure the story exactly, but they were doing like a range recon in their vehicle. Yeah. And they went out to this remote site. They fell asleep, they said, and then they woke up and the sun was coming up, and they said, well, oh, wow, we must have dozed off. They start heading back. Here, it's 8 hours later, but they're 40 miles away from where they were, and there was no tire tracks leading to where they were, where the vehicle sat. So, I mean, what you said makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Perfect sense. They can just, but they try to get you back as close as they can, but they probably couldn't. And they were like, well, this is as close as we can get them.
Jim, did you watch that video I sent you today?
Which one?
The one where they had all them videos of that thing that looked like a predator on that movie Predator thing in the woods. Things in the woods moving around. You can't even see them in a certain way.
Yeah, in the trees. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys. I don't want to interrupt, but I'm gonna put Angel out front now because Angel in the lower right hand corner. She is our recovering host for the podcast. She just got out of the hospital.
Hi, everybody.
Happy to do. She's doing very well, but Angel, how you doing?
Oh, we're doing okay, son. I just woke up from a nap. It's a long recovery, honey,
Yeah, I know.
but I'm getting there slowly.
Good.
How is everybody?
Doing all right.
Good, thank you.
All right. How you doing, lady? Good to see everybody. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. How you
All
doing, Draconi?
Oh my gosh, I'm doing excellent. I was just telling Jim, I guess I can announce it now. I have officially accepted a board position.
A what?
I've officially accepted a board position on a company to make the first ever UAP extraterrestrial communication device.
Well, that's good. That's good news. You can fill us all in about it after the show's over.
Yep. So, I mean, that's the good news with that. And moving on, we have Lady D can now unmute, and we will have her experiences coming up now. Lady D,
which one would you want it?
When did it start?
Okay, it started when I was a kid. Okay. I'm going to just talk about the main event actually, because I did have some sort of prequel build up to it. But on the main event, I was 11 years old, and I woke up with the bright light, like a bright blue light outside, and then I saw this figure. It was like a woman figure walk through the bedroom glass of the room and into the room, and then she came and just sat down on the bed, and I sat down next to her, like like two people sitting on the bed, and we decided to have a talk. And she then told me that she's my star mother, my other mother. She explained my how I came into being, where I her egg was fused with my Earth Mother's egg, and my Earth Father's sperm was inserted in. I've got some artwork what she looks like. This was an old sketch which I had done, and this is a grok render which I had done recently. This is what she looks like.
Beautiful.
Very beautiful.
Thank you. And she sat on the bed, and she pulled out her hand, and she had like this little sphere, and out came all the holograms of like star systems, solar systems, the galaxy, and she showed me where she is, which is actually my home world, which is outside the galaxy, and one of the clusters outside the Andromeda and the Milky Way, and then she showed me all kinds of things, like what life was like on the planet, how people were interacting there, the three moons, one moon that looks like Mars, and there's another moon that looks like the Earth's moon, and then there's like a crystal moon where all the it's like a like an art, what do you call it, like an information library arc kind of thing, in orbit, and it's all the memories, the science, the technology, the art throughout the whole history of the planet is stored in these crystals on that moon. So and then she came towards Earth showing me the solar system. I had my solar system lecture from her before I even did it at school, so I knew where everything was. And then before I studied at school, you know, the different planets and that. And then she then showed me what the possible future it's like on this planet. And then she also showed me saying that I need to get involved. She showed me like the symbol popped out in the hologram, and she says you need to go to these people. You'll feel more at home with them. Just the way you are and everything. And I said, okay, cool. And then see, I didn't know what it meant and everything at the time. I was only 11. And then I had the hologram, one of the hologram of the future, and that, and it was like a nuclear war broke out over the Earth. It was like the whole hologram then filled the whole room. It's like it was like almost like the holodeck on Star Trek. The whole room gets like immersed into it, and I saw all the explosions and the trees coming down and everything getting burnt, and then there's like strong wind and everything. It's just like it was, and then I screamed, and this woke my Earth mother in the other room, and she wanted to come into the room, and she couldn't get into the door. The door, my stepmother had locked the door, and she couldn't get in, and she tried to get in, and then I don't know what happened. She just like left, but then my stepmother stopped the hologram and says, I have to go now. And then she walked out through the bedroom window. She also held me in her arms as well to comfort me from that experience from the hologram. And then she walked out through the bedroom window and then out, and then she went in a ship, and the ship went up like up blue, like just shot up. And then the next day, I don't know what happened. I think my mom went back to bed, the Earth mom, and then she told me what was that, like what's happened. I couldn't. I tried to get in the room. You had your light on and making some noise, and you lock your door. And I said no, I didn't. Then I said I had a strange dream last night. I told my mum it was a dream or an experience with and my mum says, it must be an angel. And I said to my mum, I said, because I was explaining in what I saw, and as we looked at the flower bed, you saw the footprints going in and out, and we made a cast, plaster of Paris cast of the feet, the 2 feet, both feet. We managed to, and I kept these by my bedside because I didn't want to tell my mother that this is my other mother, because my mum was very religious. She
Okay.
was, so I told her that she gave me like things about the future, and she said, no, that's when she thought she was an angel. And then as time went on, time went on, I was doing some artwork from recalling memories for what I saw on my Star Mother's planet, and then she found the artwork. She didn't like it, and she took the artwork, burnt it, and she said, "No, that wasn't an angel. That was a demon." But it does go also back to a time when my Earth Mother used to call me demon sometimes, because she knew it. Well, for what I told her, she got record memories on how I was conceived, and that's when things really started to get worse. She'd confiscated my footprints and hid them away.
So after she saw that, then she became like afraid of it.
Yes.
Mm.
And because of my birth experience, it was. I won't go. That one's a bit more sensitive.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I
Yeah.
mean, we don't have to get into it right here. We can
but
talk
she
offline
eventually,
if you want to.
she eventually, when I was moving, because I wanted to keep these, because this was evidence
Yeah.
that I had. When we were moving from houses, from Umtanzini, because she came and saw me in Umtanzini, my Star Mother. Umtanzini is a small village in South Africa. It's a coastal village, very small coastal. The place where she landed is now built up. Somebody's built the house right on top of her old landing spot. I was quite upset about that, because it would be nice if the house was, just in case she decides to come again. When I was a kid, I thought, when she was gonna, if she was gonna come back.
Yeah.
Then when we were moving, I asked my Earth Mother, can I take these with me? She said, no, put them in the removal van. I said, no, I want to have them with me. I don't want these to get lost. And she says, no, put them in the removal van. And then she told me to go with my dad up to the new house. And then she said she'd send the truck, and then she'll come later. But she's going to ride behind the truck to see if anything happens with the truck along the way. And
Yeah.
so when I was wanting to get as soon as the truck arrived, I wanted to when I opened the I just could. My mum and dad were like looking at each other because they knew, they told me that they to put the feet in the footprints, and as soon as I lift the thing up, gone, no footprints.
No. See, people that don't understand stuff, they just, wow, darn.
Yeah, I was very upset.
I would have been too. I would have been very upset too.
And then my mother says, "Oh, you're upset because of these demon footprints that you want."
No, it's just your experience meant something to you, and you wanted proof of it.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm sorry that happened to you, Lady D.
Because
Me
my
too,
star mother
lady.
tried to visit my mum a few times later when I was here in the UK. She said this orb came in a hologram, exactly what the demon showed up, and I rebuked it in the name of Jesus, and the orb left.
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what happened. From what she thinks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. It's like everybody here has had the experiences, but they turn out to be good in the end. So in the world we live in today, at least it's more acceptable than it was before. Now, doctors and scientists and stuff like that still aren't coming on board, but at least we have a community that we can go to, Jim Andre's network, this network, other networks out there, just be yourself, and if you can't be yourself on that network, you don't need to be a part of it.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. You have anything else to share, Lady?
Nothing much. I don't want to keep anybody else
No,
waiting
that's
longer.
fine. We'll move on. I know Mr. Nobody said that he will wait to go last because he wanted the guests to go first. Noel, you are up on your experiencer journey that I want to hear. I love hearing stories. It's a great thing when people
Excuse
can
me, what are we talking about?
experiencer stories, ghost stories, anything that's
I
happened to
have
you
one.
strange.
I have one. I was I was at my friend's house, my boyfriend's friend's house, and we were talking to a ghost on the phone for the first time, and so they were talking to ghosts, and I felt something push me down, and so never ever again. I can't hear you.
Sorry. So you don't like to investigate then?
I tried it for my first time and it was really creepy.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you I will say you have to go in at least with an open mind, which you did.
Yes.
But
And
Yep.
God was God was there after, and never again. We never ever did it ever again in our
Oh, wow.
lives. No.
Wow. Well, I mean, if something like that happened, definitely,
Yes.
definitely it would be something. Ooh, that would scare anyone. Now, I was gonna have Angel go next with her stories. Looks like she had to dip out for a second. So we will go ahead. We'll pull up if Mr. Nobody wants to go ahead and unmute. He could tell us some of his stories and great
Yeah,
things that he's seen.
sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah. So my first experience, I would say, it started out out in the Nevada desert by Area 51, and it was when I went to Jay already knows, but his name is Rupert. He's a space scientist, and he does these like meditation sessions. And I had found out about it through Dr. Stephen Greer's documentary. And the reason I had decided to go and try it out was because I think like 4 or 5 years back, I ended up developing like a like a condition in my ears. And I was like in a really bad state of mind. I wasn't doing so well, and I was looking for answers. I was going from doctor to doctor, and they couldn't figure out the cause of it. And I was like at a really low point in my life at that time, and I came across Dr. Stephen Greer's documentary, and I decided to watch it. And I remember watching that story about that one guy who went out to the desert to meditate, and he describes like a red orb that appeared out in the night, and he says that he went out to talk to it, and that I think it was an alien. He said, and he told him like, oh, like the guy wears hearing aids. He was deaf. He couldn't hear, so he would wear hearing aids. And I remember in that documentary he talks about how he asked him if he could heal him, and he says like the next morning he could hear again perfectly fine. Um, and that really like what's it called? It really, I saw that as like how do I put it? That gave me hope. It gave me hope that maybe there's a possibility, if I can reach out to them to ask them if they could heal me. And I started out like nah, like I didn't, I was never into UFOs. I was never into aliens. None of this stuff. And but I decided to try it. So I went out, and on my first meditation out there, I, along with everyone else, we all saw like this, like I call it, it looked like a sphere, like this big, big red sphere that was glowing like red mixed with like orange and yellow. And I remember it appeared in the air, maybe like 10, 15, 20 feet from us. And I remember like I got very, very mesmerized by it. I was thinking like, what the heck is that? And it appeared, and it did. I describe it as like an S shape. It did like this S. It made like an S in the air, and right when it came at the very end, it shrunk. It shrunk till it completely just disappeared. And I never believed in like orbs or none of that stuff. Like I was never into it. And that day, it got me believing like, oh, like there's something to this. And I think they're real. And after that, I got heavily into UFOs and aliens, and I started meditating more, trying to contact them through meditation. And my second biggest experience was when I had came home after a meditation session out in the desert, and I came home, and I remember I stood outside for a while, and I remember I meditated a bit to try and send my thoughts out to space to see if anyone would hear me. And I remember I started to notice what looked like little lights that would flash, like fly around each other in the sky. And I remember thinking, oh, I think they're here. I think that's them. And I remember in my head like thanking them. I remember thanking them for appearing. I remember telling them, if that's you guys, if that truly is you guys, I send you guys my thanks. I'm really grateful for this experience, and I'm very grateful for you guys. And I don't know why, something told me to turn around. I got this like instinct in me to just turn around, and that's when I saw this really, really big, long, black, pitch black shaped, cigar shaped thing with rows of bright white lights. I remember it had around, I believe it was 3 or 4 rows of white bright lights,
Hmm.
and it was huge. Like I remember thinking, there's no way this is real. There's no way I'm looking at this right now. And I remember it freaked me out a bit because I never heard anything arrive. I never heard, and I never heard anything. I didn't hear a sound. I didn't see it come in. I just turned around. I just turned around, and it was just there. It was just there in the sky, floating. And I remember like feeling this like mix of emotions. I remember feeling like an inferior being in the presence of a superior being. Like I felt so small, so small in the presence of this thing. And I remember I described it to Rupert. I felt sadness, regret, but I also felt peace, love, hope, and like faith. Like I don't know if this thing was trying to tell me that everything was gonna be okay, but That's what I got from it. It felt like it was trying to tell me like, don't give up. There's something much bigger going on, something much bigger than all of us, and it requires our part. It requires us to do our part, um, to achieve whatever it is trying to achieve. And that experience left me like very, very changed. From there on, I started to believe 100% in aliens. Like I couldn't get it out of my head. I remember thinking like, if what I'm looking at is real, then this must mean that all these stories from all these people who have seen aliens and things in the sky, I mean, there has to be some truth to it to some extent. And I remember just like it changed my life. I changed my life a lot. I remember it at times it would bring me to tears because I remember thinking like it's real, like it's actually real. Like I saw it with my own eyes, and it left me uh with a really how would I put it? It left me changed a lot, and it left me with a different perspective on life and the universe. And from there on, I started to go more to these meditation sessions, and I've been trying to meditate more and trying to contact them. If I and I've had more successful results. I haven't been able to record none of them. Um, and I like data. I like to have data to back up what I'm saying. But these moments, it's almost as if it knew that I would not have a chance to record it or take a picture because every time I've seen it, I believe 2 or 3 times in my lifetime. And the second time was out in the desert with my father, and it was a time when I wasn't feeling well. I was very, very depressed, very depressed. And I have a feeling that this thing shows up during some of my darkest moments in life when I feel like giving up on life and just just not living anymore. This thing just it seems to appear, and it gives me this sense of hope and faith that everything will be okay. I just need to trust in the process. No matter how hard things get, how difficult things get, I need to trust in the process and continue going on. And the second time, I remember I went out to the desert, and I meditated. I meditated for around like 3 or 4 hours, and nothing had happened. And I remember the moment my phone died, um, I set it down. I decided to go outside and just to get some fresh air. I was inside my father's truck. My father was with me. He took me out there. We stepped outside, and I remember just like crying out into the sky. I don't like to talk about it much, but because I feel like I sound like a weak person, but I was crying. Like I was just crying and crying and crying. I couldn't stop crying. I remember trying to reach out to the same thing, to the same ship I saw. I remember crying, just telling them to please, please don't abandon me and please stay in my life. And out of nowhere, my father, he points up at the sky and he says, "What is that?" And that day it was cloudy. That night it was super cloudy. So you couldn't see the stars.
Okay.
And I looked up and I just saw this cloud like glowing. Like it was glowing. There was some sort of like light behind the cloud. And I remember thinking, what the heck? Like, what is that? And as I kept staring at it, these lights, one by one, they started coming out of the cloud, one by one. And I describe it as like a pencil shaped craft. It was just like this line of bright white lights. And I remember just I remember I cried. I cried and I thanked them. I was like, thank you guys. If that truly is you guys, I thank you so much. I haven't been feeling well, and you guys showing up, it gives me hope and lots of faith. I thank them a lot, and that night I left home feeling a lot better. It gave me hope and faith that everything was gonna be okay, and yeah. Ever since then, I've been seeing things in the sky. I have trouble recording them at times because it seems like they know when I'm gonna pull out my phone and record. But I've had more successful results. I still see things in the sky from time to time. It doesn't work all the time, but there have had lots of successful results.
Oh
And
yeah,
to this
and then
day, I continue to see things. What was that,
did,
Jay?
didn't you send me two videos from your friend
Yeah,
that
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. There you go. Those two videos, yeah, those were from that friend. He was never into like UFOs or aliens, and I the first time he had an experience was with me. I took him out to the desert. We went out there because we wanted to test out a new telescope he had bought. We were trying to look at the moon and look at the craters on the moon. And I never told him. I was with him and his brother and another cousin. And in my head, I remember saying, all right, I'm going to try a little experiment. I'm not going to tell them what I'm going to do, but I'm going to try to meditate and I'm going to try to call them in, see if it works. And I never told them. I didn't tell them I was going to try this. So what I did was we were out there looking at the moon and stuff, and I took some time to meditate. And out of nowhere, my friend gets out of the car screaming at me like, "Hey, hey, hey! Did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that line that was in the sky?" And I was like, "No, what did you see?" He was like, "There was a like this white line in the sky just floating. It just appeared out of nowhere." I was like, "Are you serious?" He was like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "How did you not see it?" And I remember he got mad at me. He got mad at me because he couldn't believe that I didn't see what he saw. He was so like shocked by it that he couldn't believe it himself. And I remember thinking, "Oh, I think it's working. I think it really is working." And so I tried meditating more to call them out. And that's when my friend pulled out his phone and he recorded that one video that I showed you, Jay. Where there's this light that just he's recording in the sky, and he's saying like, "Oh, I think I got him on camera." And I started to call them out, and they started to show up, and that's when they appear on camera. They turn on, and then they turn back off, and they started believing in it more. So they're like hooked. They're really hooked into this topic. Like they're really interested in it. And they're fascinated by it. So like, yeah, I mean, it's these experiences they've been very helpful to me, uh, very beautiful, and very life changing, big time. I'm like I'm so obsessed with the topic now. I binge watch videos of people's stories, of them encountering with aliens and the messages they give them for humanity, and I take them to heart. I listen to them and I try to remember every single one of them. It's hard, it's difficult because there's so many, but I believe there is truth to some extent, um, to the messages that those experiences receive from aliens. And yeah, I mean it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful, and it's been life changing. And I hope to keep doing this and record data so I could show everyone, because I'm thinking about starting a YouTube channel to upload all my data, the videos like I recorded and stuff, to show people that these things that I'm talking about, I'm actually seeing them. And I got people around me who once, who never before believed in this, and now they 100% believe in it because of the things that they seen around me. And yeah, I mean, yeah, that's my story, man. It's been beautiful, beautiful. I
it
can't
is
hear you,
beautiful.
Jay.
Sorry,
Yeah, yeah,
it is beautiful, man. Like
yeah.
your story resonates with a lot of people because you've been through some stuff that not a lot of people have been
Right, right.
through, and
Yeah,
you're dealing with a lot of things, and they're starting to come back, and they're starting to show themselves to you more because
yeah,
they your healing.
yeah. And I've always had like this. Ever since I was a kid, I've always been fascinated by science and technology. I'm a big nerd. I'm a huge geek when it comes to science and technology. I love computers. I love computers a lot. And I remember since a kid, I've always said, I want to do something in science or technology, whether become a scientist or do something in computer science. But I want to contribute something positive in one of those fields to help my world and my species. And I don't know if those intentions are seen by them, and maybe that's why they show up. I don't know. I don't know why they take interest. I don't know if I just don't know, but it's been beautiful. It's been beautiful, and I truly do hope to one day contribute something good and positive for my world and for my species, because that's my main goal. To help my world and help my species before I leave this earth.
And that's a very, very noble cause. Like everybody here, eh,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
all stick together in a group, and we have
yeah,
all this positivity going out.
yeah, yeah.
It's
I
going to
I
bring
believe it.
positivity back.
Yeah, I believe every experiencer is important. I believe all their stories are important. I believe,
I believe so too.
yeah, yeah, big time. Yeah. Thank you,
Every
Jay.
experience
Thank
and
you.
story, hey, you're very welcome. Every experience or story counts for something,
Yeah,
even
big time,
even the
big time,
smallest thing.
big
We're
time. And yeah, I mean, to all the experiencers out there, I mean, I say, if you're willing to, speak out, tell your story, because I think it's important for humanity to hear these stories too, so that we can, um, so we can listen to their messages and try to learn from them, because I do believe that they're trying to guide us towards a better future. I do believe that. I think they're trying to help us, but I also think that they're trying to tell us that we ourselves have to put our part. We have to do our part to help them create this, uh, beautiful future that I think they're trying to achieve.
yeah. No, I totally agree with you, man.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that was powerful.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me mute him real quick because I hear the background in it, but I'm gonna mute you real quick though, so I can say something real quick. Um, so also now years down the road, I'll tell you another story. Also, years down the road for myself, I had a kind of like a dream, like Lady Daniel had over there. But it was really different. It was the destruction of a planet, and it was supposedly, from what I was told, this was the planet from which you know the species that I was involved came from. What the heck is that background?
What the
Oh,
heck is
there you go.
that?
Yep, that's Jim. You got birdies, Jim.
What was that?
You got a lot of stuff going on, Jim.
Do what?
I said you got a lot of stuff going on because I could hear like the phone going off, the birds chirping.
Oh, me, my life.
No, okay, so I'm on this mountain, and I can see overlooking it. I'm on the corner of this edge of this cliff, and I'm looking down, and I'm seeing all these domed buildings at the bottom, and they're glowing white, looks beautiful, and they're all connected and everything. Looks like some of them actually run underground, but the soil is like kind of reddish. And as soon as I started to turn around, it was like I was in slow motion. And at that point, I had sat there and I started to turn around real slow. I got pushed off the cliff totally. I'm falling. And you know how you wake up normally when your body hits the ground? Well, I didn't. I saw my body hit the ground. It was like I was out of my body. I saw it hit the ground, and then it went into a million pieces. This being comes over and it puts its hand up like this and it puts me back together. I go back into my body. I turn around. I'm looking at this being, and this being is like a bluish tint, scaly, but not like a reptile scaly, almost like fish scales going down. And it had like this white cloak on with this emblem on the chest. As soon as I turned around again, all the domes were on fire. Every single one of them. They were all on fire. People, I could hear the yelling, the screaming. I could hear all the people crying out, and they were just yelling for help. And I turned around to this being and I said, what is going on? And she said, you just witnessed the destruction of the planet that you used to come from. And I said, what? She said, yes. You reincarnated on Earth, and your mission was to spread the message of peace, no hurt, no wars, and spread it. That was my mission. Spread the message. And I said, I'll do it. And ever since then, I've been trying different ways to help in any way I can for peaceful contact. We've made the podcast. We've, connected with the Extraterrestrial Alliance for the ET Embassy, project. We're part of that. We've connected with communications development scientific teams. And now the guy just got back to me actually right now and said exactly what my title is in the company is the lead field research officer. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll be doing the lead field research in the field with this team trying to contact ETs, extraterrestrial entities, because that's what we should be doing. Not making war with ourselves. We're doing too much war, too much suffering going on this planet. Like, I can have an argument with anybody on this panel I can disagree with and not walk away from here and hate anyone. That goes against everything even a person should stand for or a living being should stand for. But I'm going to get off my chatterbox and I will let Angel continue, and she is going to tell some of her experiencer stories. Angel, let's go.
Oh, you caught me off guard there, son. I like to have pictures when I tell my stories, so people actually believe what I'm saying is true. I've had many of them, and I really wouldn't know where to begin right now. You just caught me off guard, everybody. I've had many ghost stories. I lived in areas that I've seen some of the most strangest things, like Whale's Head, Brookings, Oregon, Smith River, California, on a Indian reservation.
Even had me crying when I seen something that a spiritual.
I've taken pictures of actual portals opening up and abducting someone. I can tell you a ghost story that I would like to share.
Snakes.
I lost a dear friend at the ship ashore where I was living, and she had no children. She had no she had nobody except her husband. And they moved from like Los Angeles, California, because it was all party, party, party. And she wanted to get her life together and so on and so forth. And I think a couple days before Thanksgiving, I had heard through the grapevine in the neighborhood that she had died. And I went down to see her husband, Dave, and we talked, and he told us his story. And, well, it didn't make any sense to me. There was no, no autopsy done on her.
Let's just get to the
No, I'm talking, I want to explain the story. Anyways, I used to clean the motel rooms there, and it was during the COVID time. And I was in this room, cleaning this room. Nobody had been in this room for quite a while. But we were remodeling and stuff, and I'd go in and clean the rooms. And the one day I was vacuuming, and all of a sudden the radio came on. And I had been trying to contact my friend Chris. Her name was Chris. And I kind of wondered if her husband had anything to do with her death. And I went over and I shut the radio off after it scared the devil out of me. And I went back to vacuuming, and again, the radio came on. So I stopped for a little bit, and I went over to my house because I had lived there inside the resort. And I was telling my fiance about the situation. And I said, I think Chris is trying to contact me. So I went back about a half hour later and was finishing up the room. And didn't that gosh darn radio come on again? So I went over and I unplugged it, and I sat it somewhere else, I think on the dresser or somewhere, because, well, let's face it, it was scary. But I knew it was someone, I knew it was my dear friend trying to answer my questions. That it just was very, very, very different. Nobody's been in them rooms for over a year, so it's not like somebody was there. It just wasn't no coincidence. But that was just one of my ghost stories I shared. I've had a shield put over my house. Actually, Jaconi's got pictures of those. See, I like to tell stories where I have the pictures to kind of prove it, but I don't know. For right now, for tonight, that's about the only.
That's what I was doing right
Go ahead.
now. I redid the screen. I'm actually going to share a couple of those pictures on here.
Okay.
So just give me a couple minutes here to pull them up. But go ahead with your story, and I'll pull them up as we go along, and then you can explain them when I pull them up.
Okay. Well, no, I was just saying, I've got pictures of the night sky where I'm not sure exactly what you would call them, but they were like snakes going through the sky. I've got somewhere, I don't even know if you would have those pictures, Draconi, but I have an alien actually sitting right next to me. Yeah, I know all those loves, but I don't want to get into all those right now. My fiance's in the background. He's making sure I give all my stories.
Yeah,
I got pictures. Can you hear him, son? I've got pictures of ghosts. I guess I'll have to keep up more with the podcast. So this way, when I know you've got something going on and I'm going to speak, I'll be much more prepared, like Lady was and all the other stories I've heard.
Well, all we need to really do is find the picture. Once I find the pictures, then we're good. Then I can start showing them. And that's what I'm looking for right now, which I know I got them in here.
I've got a picture of one night I was outside on my deck, and I come back in and I was just looking at the pictures that I had taken, and I actually got a snake that was kind of like, I don't know where the snake came from, but he was like encircling my body for some reason.
And eating something.
And he looked like he was eating something, but boy, he was a big snake. And I didn't feel him. I didn't have no idea, but I could see it in my pictures.
Yeah, I'm looking for him right now. I know I've got him.
There's just so many amazing things in the world today that people, especially if you're not looking for it, you'll never see it, and you wouldn't understand some of the stories. People wouldn't understand some of the stories, or they think you're crazy or wacko or you're on drugs. But I can tell by listening to a lot of stories here that people, you've had your own experiences, and they are very much believable. And I think the worst thing in the world is when you can't share your side or speak of what you know or what you've experienced or saw or had going on in your life at that time, that people down on, they frown down on people like us. I know I've had it happen to me many times, but I'm still out there and I love telling my stories. I love sharing the photos that I have, and I will just keep continuing to do so.
And I found the picture of the hold on, let me get it here. The picture of the portal.
That was just I like to go out at night. That's when I get my best pictures. And I was in an area where I could see a lot of the night sky and what was going on around. Yeah, a lot of activity. And that was just a star I seen up in the sky that I thought was rather strange. And it's got 3 pictures to it, so I don't know if you can find them. But after I'd sent them to Draconium, he had them looked at and everything. Well, actually, what I had gotten was a portal that opened up, and that was the first picture. And then in the second picture, you could actually see that there was a person being abducted up into the sky that night. And then the third picture, it actually shows the person going through the portal. And they weren't, people are like, yeah, I have no idea how to do anything with a phone except snap my pictures from my camera. I don't believe in altering things or making things up.
I wouldn't even know how to do it.
I wouldn't even know how to do it, even if I was interested. I feel what I've got is actually exciting enough that anyone who's a believer.
I
you got
found
him?
it. Yep. Give me a second here. I'm pulling them up. I'm just finding them in order here. All right, so it's this one first. It's the first one.
Yeah, you can actually see the portal that was opening up right there. It's at the red part. You got the little hole there, then it gets wider, and then it goes into, which I thought was a star. I never even seen the beginning of it. That was the first one.
Yeah,
and I had to look at him. Yeah, I had to actually look at him because when I sent him to Draconi that one night, I had no idea what he was even trying to explain to me. And then as I looked at him and studied him for a while, I could see exactly what was going on.
Well, I looked at it and I was like, that is really something. Hold on, let me yeah, we did the research on it as well too. We had verified them. We took them through AI. We took them through all the video, audio things that you could do to them, and it's a real picture. It's crazy. And I thought it really wasn't at first until, and I'll bring it up here now, and I'm going to bring it up a different way. That way we can actually zoom it in on the picture here. Here we go. So here's the picture.
Now this is the second one. You should have the third one too. I know I sent it to you.
I know. I'm going to share the first one again. That way, well, you'll see. All right. You see that screen? No, you don't.
No, I don't. Not yet.
I didn't put it on yet. Well,
I don't either.
There we go.
Okay. Now do you see it?
Yes.
Okay. It's zooming in. Yeah, there we go. So this is what she captured. A glowing
Looks
light.
like a fractal. Almost like a fractal.
Yeah, you see the white? Then there's an orange. But that's not even the scariest part. Okay? The scariest part is the second picture. Which, yeah, that got me. Let me pull that one up here too so I can zoom in because you're gonna have to see this one to believe it. All right, this is the second picture. All right, everybody see.
No picture.
Not yet.
Oh wait. You know what? I got to change these settings, add it to the screen right
There
away.
we go. It's on
All right.
now.
So, what else do you see in this? Anybody see the person?
I definitely do.
Looks like a woman in a dress.
Well, I definitely said
Yeah.
it looked like a girl.
Yep. Going up into it. And that was taken seconds after the first picture. And the third
Right.
picture shows it closing.
Going
And I
into
just,
the red.
yeah. Let me bring that one up. All right, this is the third picture here, and it's wild, like I said. It's wild to just think about that this could happen. All right, so there is the last picture of it. And you see here. First, there's this, whatever a magnetical disturbance or something right here. Same kind of fractal, white fractal, but right here. Going
It's amazing.
into the portal. That was nuts. It really was.
Those pictures were taken October 30th, 2024 at Wells Head, Brookings, Oregon, about 1:20 in the early morning. And Draconi did do some research on those as well. There were 6 people that went missing in the state of Oregon that night.
Yep. No, not just
So
6 people, 6 women that fit
6
the
women. Okay.
description of the one that disappeared that night. And they can't tell me whether or not those women actually came back or anything because I'm not part of the investigation and the family and everything. So they won't give me any information, but I'm pretty sure I found out.
But those were just some of my pictures that I'd taken, and we'll share more another night. But I love hearing all you people's stories, and I want you to continue and keep sharing because I think it's a wonderful thing that we've got going on here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to share another one that I actually did over with MUFON. I'll share my screen here. We investigated a skinwalker. And this person sent me this photo. There is nothing in this area, by the way, to make this light source. Right here, past this mountain here, past this little ditch here or something, this berm, right after that is the river. Like directly after that, there's a drop that goes down into the river. So we went to that area. There's nothing here to make this light source. And then if you look closer, it has some kind of form that's actually coming out of the portal. You can see like a tail or a defined back leg or something.
It looks like a face up here towards the top. Some kind of a funky looking face right here by the tip of the light. Right
Yeah, I'm
there.
not sure. Like I said, this This, it looks like it's coming and going that way, going out towards, going to go across the river. But it was something MUFON had investigated. This was in the, let me get it right. This was in the Nescapec mountain area of Pennsylvania. And in the photo, it actually has something that was not completely visible, but it looks like the outline of a ship of some kind on top of the mountain.
Yeah, it does.
So both things are kind of, put them together, you get something kind of weird. But it was something we investigated, so I thought I'd bring it up. But is there anyone else that has any other experience or stories they want to bring up? Anything that happened to them? Even
Love,
healing.
you want to tell your story? You have a
Healing.
story to share?
Yeah. Yep.
Here,
Yeah.
this is my fiance, John. He's actually the father to Draconi. But he makes me we live a very interesting life, and he's been dying to share something. So if I may introduce him and let him speak. There you
Yeah, go right ahead.
Well, when we lived in Crescent City, when we first got here, we thought we'd go ghost hunting around the trailer park at night. Then what happened was we seen somewhat of an image of spirits going around the corner and going, shh, like be quiet. We go in the trailer. I thought the cat stepped on her laptop because her face page was a picture of her face, Angel's face. But what happened was it was a half burned skull and half a skull, like charred face on one side and a skull on the other. And I thought, well, that's weird. And I kept staring at it. Boy, did I make a mistake staring at it. Wow. First time in my life, a still picture does not look around the room. It looked around the room and looked right back at me, and that was it. I was gone. I was on the floor crying and telling her to get this laptop out of here. Oh my God, I've never seen anything like it. It looked around a still picture. How can it do that? I was gone. And since I've been with her, I've seen a lot of strange things. And I'll tell you, I didn't know this when I was going with her. Oh my God! Now I don't know what I'm gonna see next. I've been seeing a lot of strange things. Like only one more thing I want to tell you is when we come to Michigan, we had a hard time getting here from to Minnesota from California, and we left around the end of December. Boy, through the blizzard and stuff. And then I broke down in this town, Laramie, and Wyoming, yeah. And I couldn't find what was wrong with the truck. It was sitting in the parking lot at the Super Walmart there, 20 below zero yet. And I'm thinking, why won't it start? So we changed the battery. I changed the alternator. We changed the thing. It wouldn't start. So I looked at the fuse. They said it could be I said it could be the fuse. They didn't even think of that. So they opened it up. They showed me a fuse that was like decayed and stuff. And I thought, that's it. You know what? They only had one. It's a rare fuse, 60 amp for that Ford Explorer or Ranger. So I went and I got the fuse, come back to the truck, pulled that fuse. Can you imagine it was brand new? How can a fuse not be no good? If it's no good, they put it back in, right? And then I went to get a fuse, pulled it back out. There was nothing wrong with the fuse. That was weird.
Wait. So the same one that was pulled out that you saw that was broken at first, you pulled it out again to replace it, and it's brand new.
Brand new. I mean, then that got me going like, wait a minute. What's going on here? So then that experience I had before that in the summer, before we left, where my brake fluid was running out, it was the power steering. The power steering was making a noise, so I kept filling it up. It was leaking all over the driveway, so she told me to put cat litter out and clean it up a little bit. And I never got it fixed, but it fixed itself. It don't ever leak again. See, that's
What?
before that, and then this happened. Then my muffler, it was real cold out. I have it all written down, dates and stuff. I can't remember, but it was, I think it was March it was February. I went outside and I could see my truck underneath. It was puffing, snow puffing out. Besides the back, it was puffing out the bottom. I thought, what? So I looked underneath and had a little tiny like specks of rust in the front of the muffler, and it was puffing out. And I thought, I must have a hole. The next day I come out, I looked under there. There's nothing wrong with the muffler. There's no hole. It's not puffing. I thought, what the hell is going on here? That there got me going. And now the weirdest thing of all, she's in the hospital. Okay, this happened March before the end of this, by the end of this month, hospital. And I'm writing down, figures to keep my accounts, money wise, to figure out things to make sure I keep money going okay. And I wrote down all these figures on the back of a piece of paper, folded it up, put it underneath, and because I also had the numbers of the hospital on it. Half hour later, I thought, I forgot to write down the car insurance. I opened it up and there was nothing on the paper. It was gone. It was gone. It was like it wasn't even there. And I thought, okay. So I wrote, that was weird, because I know I wrote stuff on that paper. And then when I opened it up, it wasn't there. Now, I don't know what's going on, but then the one last thing, but that might be a coincidence. She likes that mother's milk kind of tea. It's called mother's milk, the tea bag. I had a few, but now I didn't have any left, right? So she mentioned it 2 days ago. I wish I had a tea bag. I said, well, we don't have any more. And sure enough, she found one in the glove box when she was rooting around in it looking for a lighter or something. And I thought to myself, I didn't put it in there. So that's kind of weird because I had like 20 different kind of teas. It just dawns on me how the right one could be in the glove box if she asked for it 2 days earlier. And I thought, what the hell? So I don't know. Just weird things like that gets my attention, Well,
no, it sounds like you had like a guardian spirit, like going with you while you're driving and helping you along the way. That sounds like a friendly ghost.
I can't explain it, but it really did happen. I mean, you see the fuse.
I saw it. Listen, and to be clear, this is my father. I was on the phone with him when he took the fuse out. It was busted. It was blown. He showed me. He said, Jason, I'm never going to be able to find this darn fuse. He started going off in Walmart parking lot because only one store in the entire city had one fuse left. And he was just pissed because nobody would take him there. Nobody drive him there. The taxi driver didn't show up. But he showed me this fuse. It was blown. He went all the way down there. It took him about 6 hours to get this fuse because he had to get a ride and all this other stuff, right? Nobody's taking him. He had to walk in the freezing cold. Then gets back to the truck.
Yeah.
He pulled
blizzard.
the fuse
Yeah,
out,
that was.
and it's brand new. And he called me right away, and he was like, Jason, I'm not believing this. I had to show you. And he pulled the fuse out again. It's brand new. I said, okay, so you replaced it. He said, no, I just took this fuse out. Like, first time. Right after you just saw me take it out. I just walked to go get another fuse. Come back. The effing thing is brand new.
Hey, I don't know. I can't figure that out at all.
I still can't figure it out. The only thing that I could say is you had a guardian looking over you on the way that needed you to get mom or Angel over to where you need to go in Minnesota so you were settled and she would be able to get to the hospital. Could you imagine if you were stuck out there and couldn't get to the hospital?
Hey, and something else you should say to them, that my truck has 1,500,000 miles on it. It's still going strong.
Yeah, let's talk about my dad's million-mile car that's gonna probably
Who's
that thing's
your,
gonna
who-
outlast anything. It's
who's
got
your
like a million and a half miles on it, and it still runs.
who's your mechanic?
No rust.
He's the mechanic.
Yeah.
That's why it
Tom
still
is the
runs.
second fastest
Me,
car.
I'm not a mechanic. That's why I have a newer vehicle.
Tell him you built a second.
Well, yeah, I built one of the second fastest cars on the East Coast back then.
Yeah, I remember Hot Rod John.
But you know, there's ever since I've been with
Well, you know
Angel,
what,
I
Dad?
call her Angel. Her name's Tammy, but I call her Angel. That's what I call her because I've seen a lot of weird things with her.
Well,
I'm
listen,
telling you.
tell people about your experiences at the first house that we lived at. That you told me I was imagining things and was running out the room, but guess what? It was all real, and my father was running out on me. You know,
I
now I feel
wasn't.
kind of
Now,
hurt.
don't get that carried away.
I feel kind of
But-
hurt. You left me in the bedroom alone and knew those things were coming in.
No, it wasn't that bad.
Oh, it
I
wasn't that
experienced
bad.
things in that
Please
house, too.
explain your experience.
Listen, all I know is I left Tam's daughter stayed at the house one night because they needed help in the house in Millville. This is where all these spiritual things happen. And I thought, you know, I've seen some weird things happen in this house, and I don't think anybody will believe me. So I'm not going to say anything to her or her daughter when they come here. And if something happens and they tell me something, then I'll know I'm not nuts. Well, it wasn't 5 minutes that they were there. Tamika went upstairs. She's a little girl then. And she went upstairs to the bathroom. And I guess her boyfriend, the black fella, he took her upstairs, you know, so that escorted her upstairs. Next thing you know, he comes running down, screaming, running out the door. And she's up there crying her eyes out. Came down, said there was a little girl floating up the steps. And then that told me I was not nuts. That I was seeing something.
Remember when I moved in, I seen a little girl that come and grabbed my arm and
Yeah.
asked me not to leave. Oh,
Yeah, a little girl, when we stayed at that house in the basement there, I had it all fixed up. I remodeled the basement. So I stayed there a little bit. And here a ghost came, a little girl, and held Tam's hand and told her not to leave.
Oh, wow. So
Weird things. But I'll tell you what, one thing, the first experience I had was before I met Tam. I was going to Danville, and they built an Assembly of God church, you know, real big one along the high road there, back road. And the big mound of dirt's out where they, you know, after they excavated and built the church, and they put three crosses, Jesus Christ's cross, and the other two up on this hill, right? A hilly thing in the field. I'm driving by, it's raining, lightning, and it's kind of dark. When the flash of lightning went, there's a guy standing there in a raincoat, but it's a raincoat you'd wear that a fisherman would wear, right? A fisherman would wear. And I thought, I glanced back real quick and he wasn't there. And I thought, what the hell? And then I seen him again in the house in Millville, standing by the radiator, kind of like a silhouette kind of thing. Then one last time out here in California, where I thought that was Rabbit, a guy called Rabbit. I thought he was walking around in the morning, you know, getting exercise. So I seen this silhouette going through the field, and I thought that was him. I went around the corner, and there was nothing there. I thought, now that's 3 times I've seen that same person or silhouette of a fisherman kind of raincoat, you know, with the hat and stuff. That's weird.
Wow.
I've seen that 3 times already.
That's crazy. But see, you sat there and told me, oh, everything's okay, Jason. There's nothing to worry about. Go back to sleep. When really, there was some haunted stuff going on in that house.
Well, All I know is when I slept in our bedroom where the closet door was to go up to the attic, it kept opening and closing. But how can it? It's not opening and closing. I'm standing there looking at it, and it's opening and closing, but it's not. It's like a sound. It is like it's opening and closing. A sound. And I thought that's the weirdest thing that I first experienced there when we first moved into the house and bought it. I thought, you got to be kidding me.
Oh wow.
Then the back room where I worked on my models and my stuff, I wouldn't go back there at night. The first time I tried to go back there, before I decided not to anymore at night, I was reaching for the doorknob down this thin hall. It's a thin hallway to the back room, and I just about to touch the doorknob. I just didn't feel right to open that door. It's I don't know, something in my head. I can't explain it. Just couldn't do it. So I turned around and walked away and walked back down the hall. And maybe it's a good thing I didn't open the door.
Oh, jeez. What was in
no,
there?
It was.
Remember?
That's the weirdest feeling I ever got. It's like you sit there, like you're ready to open that door. Of course, you just open it. I just went like ready to open it, and I slowly started to turn, and then I just stopped. Some told me not to. In my back of my head, just go back downstairs.
Better just go back downstairs.
So I don't know.
So at least you got something out of it. You got like a message or something.
Well, it was just a feeling of it's not a good thing on the other side of that door or something that just do not want to open it. You just want to go downstairs. Some told me that it's not going to be good.
Okay.
It's like, I can't explain the feeling. It's like I was in danger if I opened that door. It's like I was reaching for it, and then my mind just told me danger, danger.
Danger, danger. So
that's all I can say about it.
All right. No, that's something. It really is. I'm going to share something here with everybody. When I did my EMF meter, and I'll show it here. This is an EMF meter on my neck right there where the actual implant is.
Okay, here you go. I'll give you that.
And there's the signal that's coming out of it. RF signal at 4.589. It bounces. It'll go back up. 4.9. That's on the side of my neck, by the way. And nobody will believe me, but you know what? Hey, I got proof. You know what I mean? That's what I do too. I go and I go for the proof. If you can't prove it, you didn't do it.
Excuse me, what is that thing on your neck?
I have an alien implant in my neck. I can actually show you if I get up here. If it'll show it. Let me see. All right. Right here. All I need to do, and I can take it away from my skin, and it's a ball. And I can roll it around in my hand. It's a ball. A solid ball.
And how did you get it? Like, can you explain?
That was what I got when I was, I believe I got it when I was 16, when I was abducted by the living spaceship. I believe it was a sensor to monitor my health, to make sure that there was no more adverse effects from what the ship had done in the beginning with the beam that they had used on a human creature instead of an animal being. Different biologics. That's what I think. Not sure. I mean, nobody will ever be sure, but until we actually meet them.
Which is why I'm excited with the embassy, because then we're able to I get all these answers and everything. I can meet my mother and everything. So.
Oh yes, and that's actually what I'm going to bring up. Let me see if I can bring that up too. I've got the embassy, what the embassy is going to look like and everything. It looks just stupendous. Is just a word for it. So yeah, it really is. Like I was amazed. So let me bring that up here. Yeah, but this is the this right here is the ET embassy that will be coming out eventually. And I'll zoom in. Well, there's the big view. And then we go down to the smaller view. And you can see they're going to build this thing with, you know, aseptic chambers so that no bacteria can come in, a welcoming room, an entrance, you know, meeting spaces, landing craft where they can land, you know, another entrance, you know, for meeting places.
You already have any funding towards that?
They have the entire
Yes.
funding. They just need a place to build it and a country to actually say, we will ratify your ET embassy treaty, which means that those grounds would be pretty much become like a NATO,
Right.
like not NATO, but like a neutral country.
Right.
It would pretty much become a neutral country
like like an Indian reservation.
Yes, it would become its own country. That way it could manage the ET embassy on those grounds and push out the treaty. Once it gets accepted by the UN, then they can, you know, they can get things rolling. Yeah, it's wonderful, man. It's wonderful, Jim. Like we're a part of that too. The ET Embassy project. That's going to be stupendous.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm excited.
I'm very excited. I can't wait until they actually pick a spot. You know, they're still in like negotiations right now with different countries because they're kind of being stingy on letting them be there and be neutral.
All right, guys, I'm gonna have to go. It's nice meeting you guys.
Hey, nice meeting you. Haha. I'll see you again, Jim. You know, we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.
Hey, take
Thanks.
care. You too.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
There you go.
So that was Jim Andre, and we're gonna be doing that probably. I wouldn't mind doing it monthly. I don't even care. You know, new members come up, new members want to talk. You know, everybody's always welcome. You know, to come up on the stage. Don't be shy. You know, I don't bite. I hope not.
My kitty cat bites.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's a big kitty. So, but yeah, I mean, it's open mic. Anybody want to say anything else before we end the night?
Where is that girl is in the house? Is she dead? Do you know how to find her?
Which one?
That little girl, that holding her hand. Is that girl? I don't know much about.
Go ahead, Angel. You can.
The experience that I had with the young girl, she was a girl that she was John, the little girl that I said had grabbed my hand, and the one I described.
Yeah.
What was her father's name?
Well, she wasn't a little girl. She was like 16.
Okay,
years old.
well, that young girl, the teenager.
George Myers.
George Myers. It was his daughter. From Millville, Pennsylvania. And the experience that I had was, John and his mom were arguing a lot all the time, and I just didn't like being around it. And I went downstairs into the basement, and I gathered my stuff up. And as I was gathering my stuff up, this young girl appeared before me. She grabbed my arm and she said, "Please don't go." So I don't know if that was the same girl that they had seen that was upstairs at that time, but that wasn't the first actual spirit that I had seen, but she was the first that actually grabbed my arm and had talked to me. But that was in Millville, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And I don't know her name, but a neighborhood person that John and the Albertson family had known. His daughter was in a bad car accident, and I guess her car went into the river and she had drowned.
Flipped
Upside down and drowned. So,
Aw.
but that's all I know about her. And then the other experience that I actually shared in that house, the Albertson old house that Jason Draconi and his dad had been in, his father, John's dad, used to have his own room upstairs, some kind of a room. And I was up there the one day after, and I never met their father, Draconi's grandfather. But I remembered as I went to walk out the door, something had grabbed my shoulder and said, "Just take care of them." So I didn't know, he must have been talking about his dad, John. And years later, their mother had come to stay with me and John in California. So I guess when he said take care of them, I was assuming he meant his wife and his son.
Oh.
But that was a very weird thing because he yelled real loud in my left ear. I can't hear out of my right ear. And John had said that his adopted dad, I guess he couldn't hear very good out of one of his ears either. So it was like he knew what ear to actually say something in. But it was just a very amazing. He said to take care of them, is what he said. You weren't there, so you don't know. But it might have been just John or John and his mom. But who knows if the other people on the other side, if they can see the future.
Who is them? I don't even know who that is, John or.
That would have been John's.
Yep, go ahead.
John and John's dad, adopted dad. And then the young girl, the girl that I described was a neighborhood fellow's, their neighbor, George Myers. His daughter died in a car accident when she was 16 years old.
Okay. You got to stop moving around, Angel. You're breaking up.
Oh, sorry about that. If maybe
all right.
the house was sitting on a portal.
Do they come around?
The different spirits come and go.
Did that little girl come around? Or not?
I've only seen her once, but they did see a young girl prior to my moving in there. My daughter and my granddaughter did. So I'm not really sure, but we don't live in the house anymore. We've moved away like 15 years ago. But it's in Millville, Pennsylvania. That's where the house actually stands.
Has
Jason's
anyone-
old house, right?
Yeah, that's our old house. Has anyone seen the MH370 video and night vision when the orbs are actually around it? All right, I got to share this then because this is actually kind of weird. Let me just give me a couple seconds here to add it to the screen here. It's pretty interesting. Just to think that this could be real, I guess, but I'm not sure if it is or not. That's why I put it on here and let you guys be the judge. So we've got, all right, let me pull up the cameras here. Just switching cameras around here so we can make it bigger. All right, here we go. So add update. There we go. Then I will add this video file. This is the video that was shown. There it goes. Now, supposedly night vision drone in the area picked up the MH370. 3 drones or 3 objects go around this.
Look.
That's the MH370. Well, this is the supposed video. People are still digging into this right now. And then there it is close up. And then poof, gone. Yeah.
Was that the plane that went missing here a few years ago?
Yeah, that was the MH370 that disappeared a couple years back. Now, somebody tried to debunk it and they were like, okay, that's not real. And I was like, okay, if it's not real, then what is real? And then somebody showed me and said, well, do you know that there's a video out there of the satellite view of MH370 viewing from space? And I said, wait a minute. There's a satellite view of the same thing from space that we can see. Yes. And it's crazy to think that this space satellite actually picked up MH370s right there, and there's the objects. Right there's one.
Wow.
Circles the plane. Third one comes in. They all start going in a perfect triangle right around the plane. Then they do another triangle the other direction, above the plane. And then poof. And
from what I've seen is somebody says I don't know which post, somebody kind of like debunked this, and they said somebody had got like a stock photo of the clouds, and they put the plane animated on with After Effects.
Trying to stop it right on that, right when it disappears, so quick. It's like that little. There, got it. Ha. I don't know. That does look kind of like a special effect, though.
Well, that's what I seen. Somebody had found the stock footage.
It's like ball lightning, pretty much. That's what they used, or they could have. I mean, we can't totally debunk it because we don't know, but we could say for a fact that it's not what it appears to be. I mean, I also have one. I have a good one here too that that somebody actually sent in. This will be the first time it's aired on this show. It is of a UFO dropping into the ocean. Give me 1 second to pull it up here.
That's a good one, actually.
I got to pull up this one from my screen share window and then put it on the screen. All right. This is from a ship out in the ocean, okay, that took a video of a ship, F-16s chasing a saucer. The saucer ends up behind their ship and then drops into the ocean before the F-16s come back. They're coming back around. There it is. Boom! Hit the water.
Wow.
Like, that is real. Those two F-16s right there. They tried to catch it. There they are right there. Two F-16s. They tried to catch it, flew by, was going to make a circle pass. There's the object. And we'll start it from here. Boom! Hit the water. Oh, and it's gone right before the jets come back. Gone.
Amazing.
Now they're looking to see if they can get any debris because they think it might have fell apart, but that's not how they work. They're telling them to put their cell phones down and stop recording.
Ah.
He's still recording though. Like, come on, everybody. That was a good one. That just drops right into the ocean. Like, there's no way. Now, some of these I haven't gotten verified yet, so we won't go over all of them. But, other than that, if anyone has anything else that they want to bring up here, anything at all, Mr. Nobody, you want to connect your mic again? So I can put you on stage. Angel. There we go. All right. Angel's coming up. Then Mr. Nobody. There he is. All right.
Yeah, I'm
All right,
here.
guys,
Sorry.
if anybody has anything else to add, this will be the ending of it. We'll go down the line. Lady Daniel, you go first. Anything to add to the ending of it? Ending of this episode of our podcast, and go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, you're good.
Okay.
We can hear you now.
Yeah. Actually, this is a recent experience. It was last year in November, I think it was 9th. I was tuning in some radio frequencies, like emergency frequencies with some club that I'm with, to see if it, emergency sequences, frequencies, if like the internet and all that goes down. And I was trying to scan, and the moment I saw this laser, this like sort of like bright green blue laser scan me, and I'm like, this got my attention. So I looked to where the laser light was coming from. I thought somebody was, pointing a pen laser at me, and and I looked. I saw all these, a circle of bright blue lights in the shining through the clouds.
Yeah.
And I was on the radio, and the guy says, "Can you try and get the signal?" I said, "I'm having a problem getting the signal, but there's a mothership above my flat."
What?
Yeah, and he thought I was talking. He says, "You've been smoking green," and I said, "No, I'm having that later." so, so I just started to take photos of it and videos. I did short videos. You know, short videos are easier to share and all that because it was
Yeah.
just staying put in the sky and the lights are going around, and then it kind of went away, and I got my other phone. I still couldn't get the signal, even though that the mothership went away for a bit, and then it came back, and it was like right above my flat. And then I got my iPhone and I started talking to it.
Yeah.
And when I talked to, I connected to the ship telepathically, and I was like, wow. And then there was 6 people on board with my star mother, and then I communicate with to affirm who it was, and that. But because I had a telepathic link when I was talking, I couldn't get all my words out, you know, because it's quite weird when you're projecting and then you're trying to talk for the camera, and you start talking like you miss out the words, kind of thing, because your mind is working faster. Because because I have neurodivergency where I see things, my mind processes in images, and I have to translate what I'm seeing in the images when I try and speak. So when I was connected to the ship, I was connected with emotion and images, and of course I couldn't put all my words out, you know. And I managed to get this on the on film, which I'm going to try and see if I can put it through the camera. Go to videos. I'll try and find it.
Yeah, take your time.
I've got, yeah. Okay, this was okay. I'll give you the one which was taken by somebody living further around further from where I was, and this came up on their security camera on the same day. It's gonna. No, it's not the wrong one. I hate it when I do that. I always get the wrong video. Okay, I've got in one where I've enhanced it a bit, where you can see the.
Oh wow, yeah, that's the blue. That's a really bright. Wow, what is that?
It's above the clouds, and it's shining through the clouds. And here I'm talking. I put the volume up. Yeah, so you can hear me talking to it. Yes, like family. Yes, get made a family. Yes. Hey. So I was interacting with it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that really is, lady.
Thank you. That was recent, and I went private with the ship after that, and we spoke about not really speak, but connected about the extraterrestrial embassy and all that, and and also the night before, I got a telepathic message from somebody who's got blue skin. I don't know who that is. No name mentioned. I just felt that they had blue skin, and said, "Oh, you're a diplomat now." And I'm like, "What?" I was like, "What?" And then the next day, this mothership came, so I just confirmed it. And my star mother confirmed we would like she'll be excited. She'll be waiting for me when the extraterrestrial embassy gets built. She would meet.
That is beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah, we got another video here. One more video of an orb that someone was talking to as well.
Really amazing. It's November 8th. It's like really bright. Just stay on it. Yeah, right. Thank you. It is really bright. Not very high either. Good luck. Check it.
Yeah,
You saw that.
another one. Wow,
This is
multiple.
That was an orb that filled my outside there. Did a big S curve.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, my hair, my body just gets electric. It came right on, right when I raised my hand and asked, what a beautiful thing. November 8th.
Yep, that was that video right there. So November 8th, this guy had the most incredible experience, talking to the orb. And that's what we can all have, incredible experience. So, Lady Daniel, did you have anything else for us for tonight?
Yeah. I'm just going to show you the video that's got more, which just hasn't been modified to look clear. This one's like where it's got the two phones.
Okay.
Is it playing? Yeah. Don't know if you can see it yet. Yeah, see, I
I
had to
see the light
enhance it.
in the clouds.
Yeah,
That's what we're looking at.
yeah. It's
Oh,
not as
wow.
bright as the one when I it was much when I enhanced it post, just to bring it out because there's a lot of light pollution here, and the clouds were quite low as well, and the ship was higher up, and if you could see the it looks better on the you got the ring, and this is what see if I can zoom in. It can.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's quite impressive. Yeah,
Mhm.
I like it. That's really cool.
Yeah. Actually, I wish there was no clouds, then it would have been better.
Yeah, right. Wow. That's something.
Mm.
But
But
that
after
looks
that,
very similar.
after the experience, after communicating with the ship, I had like in my mind there's like a blue light that remained on my mind for a few hours after
Okay.
connecting. It was a weird is from how the ship connected to me. It's like felt like a blue light, and I could actually see the people on the ship, including my star mother, in my head, as if I was there on the ship. Yeah.
I can see that. It's a telepathic link.
Yeah.
It has to be. Because not a lot of people have had that as well. I've had it. You've had it. Mr. Nobody has had it. And a lot of people have had it, especially ones that are more in tune with Mother Nature. Mr. Nobody, you are up next. Do you have anything else to end it?
No, not much. No. No, not much. Not much. No.
All right. Is Rupert still out there, or is he?
I believe no, not anymore. His last day was on Sunday, but he's coming back on the 24th, and I'm planning to go to that event, and I'm planning to hopefully record something there. Hopefully,
Nice.
yeah,
Well, get back with us, man.
yeah.
If
The last event that I went to with Rupert on Saturday, we saw like a blue light, just like how Lady Danielle saw. We
Yep,
saw something very very similar, very similar.
that's awesome.
That's why I'm actually like I'm surprised by that. That's really really cool, really cool.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Did
Noel,
you?
you are. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask Mr. Noby, did you
Yes.
see like when you saw the light of the cloud? Could you also make out the shape of the ship through the between the clouds? Because that doesn't come
Um.
out well on camera, but with a naked eye, you could actually see the ship
Yeah.
moving.
You're talking about your video?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could see that. Yeah, that's what like I'm actually like really really surprised by that because you could see it really really well. I think we saw something similar over there because I do remember seeing like a blue light and I remember it appeared only for like a second. It was only for, like for a second. So
A
I'm not sure.
second.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It was really
and it
really
did.
fast.
Okay, because this was like on and it turned the lights on and
Yeah,
off. But
yeah.
even when the lights were off, you could still see the like a shadow of a ship
Oh
in the
wow.
cloud moving. Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying because here in the city there is lots of light pollution too. So if there's
That's
like
probably
something
why.
pitch black right there, you can make out
Mm.
the like the structure. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
and
make out the
also
shape of it.
also got visited recently as well this year. The ship was above my flat, but I wasn't on the balcony, but it was throbbing
Oh wow.
orange light.
Whoa.
And some people also many people saw that one, not the one
Whoa.
that I communicated with, but this
Right.
other one was much bigger. It was orange and
Whoa.
was much bigger mothership. And
Whoa.
some said it was the stadium lights, but the stadium lights are over there,
Right. Right.
and the bright light was up here.
Up in the sky.
But
Yeah.
so,
High up
but
in the
because
sky.
the person was probably on the other side of the town, they
Right.
thought, oh, it was from in the stadium.
Right. Yeah. Right. 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 Whoa. Man. Yeah. I hope I can see something like that. That's. Yeah.
Hmm.
I hope everybody can.
Yeah.
That everybody should experience something in their life like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in the beginning, sometimes it does end up being
Man.
negative in the beginning, but then once you figure
Right.
out what actually happened, it turns
Right.
into a positive.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So, all right, we've got one more person up. Noel, you're the last person up. Do you have anything you want to add before we end the night?
Can I say, how did you find this channel? How did you create this channel? It's really interesting.
I created this channel through StreamYard, and I don't know. I felt a calling. I felt a calling to guide people that are lost, to mentor people that have been hurt, and to just be an ear to listen. Most people out there, they don't want to hear these stories. The minute you start talking about your story, that you've seen an alien or an extraterrestrial being, or that you've seen a craft, you're crazy, you're this, you're that, I don't want to talk to you no more. You lose friends, you lose family, and it shouldn't be that way. That's why I created this podcast, to bring people together.
And so have you ever seen it like something like that before? Like, what's your first time? Can you tell me your story?
Yeah. First time was when I was about 6 or 7 years old. I was sleeping and I saw this All right. This came out like years later, but do you remember seeing the War of the Worlds, the
No.
newer one, where it has like the eyeball that goes through the houses and stuff and looks for people? You know, that it kind of looked like that. It was like this mechanical eyeball looking thing hooked to like this like a thing. I'm trying to think of what it's called, and it looked at me, and when it looked at me, I was like, whoa, and I screamed, and it went back underneath my bed.
I have seen an eyeball. It's like a drone, actually.
Yeah, something like that. But it was like
It's a droid.
was
It's a
attached
droid.
to something though.
Okay, that's what an orb is. But you've seen it without the plasma. You've seen it in its
Natural
vulnerable
form?
stage. Its vulnerable stage, because I was sitting on my balcony. It's the balcony, same balcony I had saw the mothership, and this orb was glowing, and then it turned off the plasma and was like a metallic ball, and then the metallic ball opened up like an eyeball, like an iris, opened up like that.
Yeah.
And you could see and it looked like an eyeball, but like with a camera, like a camera eyeball thing, and it just waltzed, like just casually moved past my left 90 degrees from when I was looking. And I was like, hey, hello, hey, you. And then it kind of turned 90 degrees. And then I got my torch, because sun was just about rising. So it wasn't night and it wasn't day. So I could still shine my torch on it to get its attention. So I was shining my torch on it. It turned and looked at me.
Yeah.
And it gave me a little flash, and it did a somersault. Like a danced for me, and I waved. And then it started to go up the roof, and then shoot up. After. So actually, what had you done? It was the somersault dance first, and then when I did shine the torch on the second time, that's when it flashed at me.
Damn. So that makes perfect sense. So I saw it vulnerable, and when I screamed, it probably felt what I felt and, disappeared real quick because it was in a vulnerable state.
Yes.
How does it get into your house? That's
Multi-dimensional. These things can go through walls. They can appear anywhere. There was a story about a girl that was in New York that was abducted out of her 23rd floor New York apartment building that about 16 people saw this from different angles. And the girl floated, literally did not touch her window. She went through the window. It didn't break. And then she levitated up into the clouds.
And she's dead?
No, she came back. She got abducted. She came back and she made the story, and she was like, nobody's going to believe me. I got abducted in New York. Somebody had to have seen it. And she came out with her story, and like 6, 7, 8 people started coming out saying, hey, I witnessed this craft coming when I was on the bridge at this angle. Oh, well, I was in the city and saw her from this angle. And I was over here at this angle and I saw her. And somebody actually saw her float, I guess, outside of her. She actually went through her window and then floated through and went up.
This is a photo of an orb. But when you look at it, when you go closer, you can see it's got the eyeball. This is with the plasma on, but you can still see the eyeball through the plasma layer.
Yep. I get stuff like that all the time going over my house, like all the time. Couldn't even tell you how many times that's happened. I actually have a thing here. Let me see if I can put it on here. I'll put the last thing on here, whatever. For this, I'm trying to add it now. Yeah, this one's pretty strange too. I thought this was really weird. Well, not weird, but weird in a good way, I guess. So when I was outside my house, I saw this, and I videotaped it. And that.
Look, come here.
Wait, are the clouds moving?
Look, it's pulsating.
Wait, there's another helicopter.
Look, it's pulsating.
No, wait.
No, look at it on my phone. It's a disc.
Oh, shit.
Or you see the eyeball in it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's freaking pulsating. That's an orb.
It started
Yep.
doing that when you flash the green laser.
It's getting dimmer. Right? It's dimming out.
See, he's flashing it with the laser light, and it's starting to dim out a little. Pretty cool.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
All right, guys, but yeah, we're gonna end this for tonight, and I want to wish everyone out there a wonderful week. The next podcast that's coming up will be this Saturday.
This Saturday at what time?
I'm about to bring that up now. 1 second.
Is it an opening link?
No, this will be for a guest. We have a guest coming on, a special guest. It'll be Dr. Andrew Morgan. He is a visionary scientist, educator, and pioneer in UAP, NHI, and future technologies. He's been doing this for over 30 years. He does deep sea exploration, cutting edge AI study, and he also does study on UAPs and non-human intelligences. He has a PhD in environmental and marine science, and he is also he's trying to shape the next generation of thinkers. So he wanted to come on the podcast and spread the love, and his technology that he's trying to create. He's a true inventor and educator, and he's committing to fostering curiosity, critical thinking, exploration, and ensuring that society is prepared for the technology and the revolutions that are ahead. So that guy he'll be here on this Saturday at 7 p.m.
And when is the opening drop links just like this? When's
the next we'll be doing that periodically. As long as you're subscribed to the channel, you get all updates to the channel and everything coming out. Normally, it'll probably be every month, about once a month. We're going to do that open panel night. And for the rest of them, actually, I wanted to spread it out a little bit also. And after Dr. Morgan comes, now we got a new one coming on the podcast actually on May 7th, way out. I'm going to go ahead a couple. He is a May 7th at 8 p.m. After that, we're going to start doing live podcasts in the field doing research.
How can I join that one?
That one's going to be on here as well. We'll have what we're going to do is the main team is going to go out to the spots and start investigating. You guys will be in the chat rooms being able to view every single scientific thing that we do. Anything you guys want to know, anything you guys want to know that we're doing, you type it in the chat. We'll bring it up live on the TV screen and be like, hey, we're sitting here and we're talking to, you know, ghosts, or we're collecting evidence with our spectrum analyzer.
That's cool.
You know, I can show you live on the screen, you know, hey, this is what it's showing on the screen, you know, for the spectrum analyzer. You know, I'll turn it on and I'll show you guys, you know, or I can tape it on the 6K Ultra HD camcorder that we got for the show. Or, I mean, the list goes on and on. Okay, I even have what's called what Jake Barber has been calling the dog whistle.
This is the inviter.
We are calling the inviter. Okay. I have a frequency generating machine, high frequency generator, that hooks up to my omnidirectional antenna that was custom made from antennas.us.com.
Awesome.
And after that, we will be blasting out signals to
And
try
so it's going to be some music as well, like signals.
Excuse me. What are you guys trying to do to catch these paranormal stuff? Ghosts.
We're going to be doing both. We're doing paranormal. We're doing haunted locations. We're doing UAP studies. We're doing ghost investigations, overnight investigations. You name it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do cave investigations. I've got, let's go through all the equipment, I guess. I've got gas detectors, cave gas detectors for, you know, if we run into any like gas in the cave that's toxic, it beeps, we get out. Then the camcorder, which you guys already seen, and then let's see here. Then let's say we run into an area, right? And let's say we run into an area and we need negative energy removed from us. Okay. I've got my entire smudge kit right here with Indian feather, eagle feathers, sage, sandalwood, and sweetgrass right in here to burn off that negative energy before we get in there. Then, after we get in there, we can start taping, gathering results. I also have night vision scopes, night vision cameras. I have, what else do you want to see? I've got EMF meters, EMF 390 meter. That'll detect EMF radio frequencies or any electrical magnetic disturbances in the area. EMF 390. Then let's keep going. Then I've got my puja table for spiritual contact. My puja table.
Never heard of that before. What is it?
A puja table is an offering table for UAPs to come down and visit. You give them an offering. You put something on the table that's special to you, that they can see, and you also put the sweet grass and everything on there as well to burn off the negative energy within the circle that you're creating.
Have you ever tried the Ouija board or no?
I've done it. I've dabbled, but it's not something I'd like to continue. You're not in control of what you call in.
What is it like? Is it really bad for you?
No, I wouldn't say bad. I would just say like you have to be careful. If you don't follow like certain rules, you could end up really messing yourself up. Like leaving open a gateway, not closing it, not saying goodbye, or saying that it's not allowed to stick around, not allowed to attach itself to you, and then you say goodbye and that's it. But if you let it, it'll stick around. Like you're not going to leave you. And that's a bad thing. It can be. I'm not saying it's always a bad thing. I'm just saying it can be.
So you try it one time, and then what was going on with it? What happened in your experience?
Well, in my experience, I actually lost a couple good friends over this, but my experience was pretty damn bad. The first time we tried it, I was 13 years old. I was over at a friend's house, and I did not know that I mentally gave this thing permission to take over my body.
Wow.
And I literally turned into a different person, just like that. Like within seconds, I went from like being calm and cool and collect to angry to like yelling and I didn't go after it. I was just like I was a meaner person, and they saw it. And as soon as they saw it, it was like they ran from me. And I don't know what happened. I know that I beat it out of myself pretty much. I said, you are not allowed to be in here. I did not give you permission to be here. Where am I at? And I remember like the light opening up back in my eyes, and I'm back in my body. And I'm like, okay, I'm never touching that thing again, ever. So we went over to it. We did what it told us to do. We closed it. And I've never touched one of those things again.
Wow.
You have to be careful. It's not for children. Like, if you're an adult, you know what you're doing. You close it. You open it the right way. I don't think anything really bad is going to happen. But it could, if you don't do certain things.
And you were really frustrated. What did you do? What experience did you have? Like
I said, it was anger. That was the experience I had, was just being taken over by a force that wasn't my own, that was way angrier than I was. I didn't know what it was. It was just something that like, it just took over like my entire body. And I was just somebody else. I was walking. I was there. Like I was still in there. I was seeing myself walk around saying all these things to these people. And I was like, wait a minute, this is not me, what the hell? And it I don't know what happened. I don't know exactly what happened after that, but I just remember my friends being scared of me. And when I looked at them, it snapped me out of it, or it made me think about it twice, and like something snapped, and I came back. Went back.
So how can you do that? How can you snap back? It looks like your friends snap back.
It's almost like you can't get rid of all experiences, okay? Something can take you over. It can't take you over completely. And what I mean by that, excuse me, your energy is still in there.
Yes.
All it is doing is dampening it. If it's something that wants to harm you, there is other dimensions out there. Like, not all extraterrestrial beings are 100% benevolent, which I know, Lady D, you're going to be mad at me. I see you over there. I don't believe they're 100% benevolent. Like, not 100. Because in species, you'll still have breakaways. You'll still have something Possibly, maybe, we don't know. These species are thousands, millions of years ahead of us. Yes, they could have conquered, evolution and this and that and emotion, but they still have to have some sort of structure.
So can the Ouija board haunt you forever? It says, can the Ouija? Some people say that.
I mean, it's like I believe it's like the hitchhiker effect. Like once you start dabbling into stuff, you get things that follow you back from places. That's why also, like I said, that's why I bring, the smudge kit with me. Because when I leave an area of real bad negativity, graveyards, churches, asylums, I don't want any of that energy coming back to my house. So I make sure that I bless, everything around me with the sage, with the sweetgrass, with, smudge myself, all the equipment. We leave, we do the same thing as we leave, when we enter.
And so I did this thing with my friends at their house, and I was talking to, do you know this app on your phone to talk to these ghosts? Is that real? How is that possible?
I don't know. I don't really go with the phone. The phone can be manipulated. I go by, that's why all my equipment you see is none of them are connected to my phone. Because your phone can be manipulated. Somebody could send a message in there. Okay. Oh, I've got it on airplane mode. But is your Bluetooth on? Or is another connection coming in? Or do you have it, a private connection that nobody knows about, and it's still on airplane mode, and you're still able to get those messages in? That's why all this equipment you see here, the night vision cameras and all this, none of it's connected to my phone. And every single one of them has their own separate recording mechanism and a backup SD card on every single one.
And so why did I get the feeling when somebody pushed me in the back?
They can't manifest as objects. That if a spirit gets enough energy, they can manipulate the environment around them. And what I mean by that is, like, energy doesn't get destroyed. It can't be destroyed, and it can only be moved from one place to another. Okay, that's Lady Daniel. You need to jump in real quick and explain that real quick. I can't hear you.
I double muted.
No, you're good.
Sometimes energy is the movement of stuff. It's everything's it's vibration frequency. I go by the symbol here, as above, so below. So it's infinite universe. So it goes infinite. There's infinite stuff. As you go smaller and smaller and smaller, it's always stuff. So it is the movement of stuff is the energy. Like be it like movement of photons, electrons.
Yes, and it can't be destroyed.
And smaller particles as well, gravitons.
So you're saying what happened to me? It was the energy off of me.
The energy was that energy was another thing's energy that was pushing against your own.
What do you?
It was a spiritual ghost, if you want to call it a ghost, a spirit, apparition.
Really that did that to me.
Yes, it could have been a being, but it was drawing enough energy enough to physically affect you or physically affect objects around you. It wasn't now. some beings can be in this dimension and out of the dimension in this at the same time. And that's really weird.
I never ever seen something like that before. I just feel it, and that's
Yes.
it.
It's the energy. It's the energy. It's the other, whatever other energy is in that space that could be negative, could be positive. Heck, it could even be the energy of a person maybe trying to repeating the same actions over and over again. Maybe that person died in that building because they pushed a girl out of the way of a falling, something from the building fell or something. Maybe it crumbled and they pushed a girl out the way. Maybe they're reliving the same thing over and over again. You came in, they're like, oh my God, another girl. Push her out of the way, quick, before she gets hurt.
And so they didn't even follow me home. They did not. Like, what's that?
There is spirits also that are only bound to the space that they passed away in, and that's like a building haunting. Like they're stuck in that space. Like, you have asylums, you have medical asylums that were back in the 70s and 60s that were treating patients with dementia by giving them, whatever. I'm not going to say it on here, but you know what I mean. Those things, doing that to people and making them vegetables. And then those same people pass away. And what happens? They get stuck there. They might, because of that trauma, they suffered in that area. And that's when another person can come through, like a spiritual guide, come through, clean the area. What I mean by that is you're not destroying any of that energy in there. You're not banishing it to hell or heaven or all that stuff. You are allowing that energy to move to where it needs to go. Okay? It's stuck there. It's stuck there in that anger moment. It doesn't know that it is stuck there. And when you come in there and you say, hey, you do realize that you're gone and you can move on. You move on. And if they do move on, if you do get them to move on, that energy is gone from that space, but it doesn't disappear. That person's essence moves on and now can reincarnate.
And so is there a nicer ones? Is there a nice?
Oh yeah. There's nicer,
been...
there's spiritual guides, there's
nicer.
Guides, there's monks, there's dream walkers, there's a bunch
of those. Can you tell me what's dream walkers or like walkers are? Like I heard of them, but I don't.
I can astral project, but as far like I do visual audio with my projections, but as far as like dream walking, I haven't actually gotten into it very much, but it's like the person can kind of put themselves into your head, into your dream, and see what you're seeing in that moment. Like they feel what you feel. They see exactly what you see in that moment. And they can walk you through your dream as you're going through it. That's what I consider a dream walker. And and
what is skull walkers are? Those Willie never heard of skull walkers.
I don't think there is one.
Skin walkers. What is that?
Oh, skinwalker.
Yeah, what is
they are they're from the Indian tribes.
They're really bad. Lots of people told me to not go into that, to stay away from.
Yeah, I would stay away from that. We don't say the S word in my house because that's a bad idea. You don't want to invite them to come over. So we just say the S word because you invite them by even calling that. You know,
Really?
yeah, it's like you just say the S word and you're good because it's better safe than sorry. That's what I've been told by Indian elders is it's better safe than sorry. Just say the S word. And I have actually seen someone. There was a documentary on YouTube not too long ago. Navajo Indian hunters on a reservation actually captured a skinwalker live
Wow.
on video on the screen for everybody to see it. And I watched it and I was, wow. Just wow. Guy was running, okay, took off. He's wearing this like I don't know, kind of like a fur coat or something, like a fur or something over him. The Indian guy shoots this guy in the back twice with arrows. The guy falls to the ground. The Indian guy runs over as fast as he can and starts grabbing the animal fur off of this thing. But when he went to go grab it, I swear to you, this thing turns into a bird.
Wow.
Flew out from underneath of the animal skin and he pulled it off of him. And it had like on the inside, it had like the back of this guy's neck. Like the skin still attached.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's why I believe in the S word.
The S word?
The S word, because
excuse me, can I explain something to you? Is the S word can call you in your house? Never know that.
I think you have to be in the area first. I don't think you can actually call it in. Like if I say it now, I just for my own being, I don't do that. But you know, there's those are different things though. Those aren't what we're talking about here. Like the ones that the ones that we're talking about, the loving ones are extraterrestrial. Okay. They are extraterrestrial, but there's also interdimensional. There's different dimensions. There's many different dimensions.
Have you ever seen one before? Have you ever like go up there like in
spiritual form? Yes.
And how is it? Is it really interesting?
It's beautiful. It's the most beautifulest thing I have ever seen in my entire life.
Wow.
But yep. Noel, we're gonna end the podcast now. But I want to see you guys back here for this weekend. If anybody has anything else right now, raise your hand. Nothing. All right. We are going to end now, and I will see you guys on Saturday. Let me see here. Let me get it again. The Saturday at 7 p.m. starting this Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, everyone in the Galactic Podcast world, I love everyone here. Everyone have a good night. And love you all. Have a good night, guys.